Hey, question for you. I wonder if you could do me a little favor. I'm having a lot of conversations with photographers that are taking a look at some of the new mirrorless cameras, and I'm assuming their intention is all hybrid shooting, but at risk of starting trouble, which I don't want to do, but I'd like to have your input, please. I'm asking for help, asking for a favor. If you're capable of having a intellectual type of discussion about photography, please join us. That's what we're trying to do. But of course, navigating through the depths of the internet and the people who like to post nasty things, hey, help me out. If we're moving towards e-products, right? Very few of the photographers that I'm working with in a commercial setting, as well as average style portraits, right? Family portraits, senior portraits. Most of us are heading towards the idea that, we're going to be selling products that are going to fit on a screen versus a print. Now, the print isn't dead, and I just see that the e-product is going to replace the printed product as the primary means in which a professional photographer makes a dollar. All right, that means if we use a full-frame sensor camera, we're getting a lot of data, right? Great data that maybe we don't need. I'm finding that I'm using mirrorless cameras for a lot of work that I do, and the vast majority of it doesn't really need to be the full-size frame that I'm shooting anyway. Here's what I mean. If we're filling up a television, right, an HD TV, that's a 1080p screen. So that's 1080 pixels tall, 1920 pixels wide. Now that's big enough to make a small print without a problem, but it's not going to make a 16 by 20. Right? It's not. Well, if the majority of us are not shooting that, why would we spend the extra money to buy a full-frame sensor mirrorless camera? Now, hang on a second. I know some folks, they want maximum quality and they want to shoot big groups of people. I get it. That's, percentage-wise, that's a very small amount of the dollars generated by today's professional photographer. Now, I know that I'm maybe a little in front of the curve or on the side of the curve when it comes to my commercial work, but we've had a lot of success with that e-product that we just made for that sushi restaurant, right? If you haven't seen it, I'll put it at the end of this video clip and you can see. That is something that the client really liked, they paid for, and they've invited me back to shoot a couple more. It fits into their social media campaign and it's terrific. Now, I certainly could have shot that with the Nikon D800 system, but I'd be throwing away 2/3 of the data.
So I guess it really comes down to a trade-off. If I want to shoot a photo session where I know that we're only going to need a file, a video file, photo file, that's going to fill up a big HD screen. And by the way, Bob, you're exactly right. 4K is coming, but we're 2, 3, maybe even 4 years away, and I'm not even sure 4K is gonna make it. The 2K thing works because it's the same thing as 1080, right? You know that, right? They're measuring 1080p with 1080 being the short side, 1920 the long side. When they refer to 2K, it's 2K the long way, not 2K the tall way, short way. Isn't that hilarious? Well, if we're providing a service in which we're flowing photos in a professional manner from the camera through the Wi-Fi to a tablet, and then giving the tablet to that customer on the site in order for them to choose the ones they want. Then from that tablet, uploading that to our delivery system or preparation system, whatever. That whole process relies on moving data. And no matter how fast Wi-Fi and 3G, 4G speeds become, data is still data. So it's faster for us to move smaller files. So the smallest, most efficient file that we need for the job is the way to go. And I get it, that we want to have a big, beautiful file there later, but for the mass volume of photographers that are providing a product and a service, having, when we pull up the Nikon D800 and shoot corporate headshots, it's got, I think, 5 different levels of file size, and we shoot JPEG, right? We never use the large file size. It's too big. There's no reason for it. We go down not even to the second one down, but the third one down and shoot perfect headshots with that will make gorgeous 16 by 20s of single heads there, of course. So there are applications for everything, but what's confusing to me is that so many photographers that I really admire and respect, Chuck Jones saying, hey, the Micro Four Thirds folks need to have a full-frame sensor. I just don't understand why. I'm a Micro Four Thirds guy and I'm getting along just fine. Would I like to have a sensor that's got higher pixel count? Yeah, I think I would. The GH3, the sensor size, the physical size, I don't think it's going to change, man, because the way the lens structure is designed and the way those cameras are designed, I don't think that physical size. But they could increase the density and put more pixel sites in there. Now, whether or not we really need that or not, I don't know. I can tell you that I'm flipping between GH3 and the Fuji X series cameras. Fuji X has a bigger sensor, much more pixel size, and I just don't see a difference in what I'm doing. If I'm making big, beautiful, outdoorsy prints, that's terrific. That's not the pro photographer's point. When we're moving into all this hybrid stuff, we're creating e-products as our primary product and printed products as our secondary product. And those photographers that don't agree with that, that's okay. You go your way and you keep trying to sell printed products, and I'll be over here selling the electronic products, because that's just what my clients are going for. I'm assuming you're seeing that thing there too. So with all due respect, not trying to cause any sort of fire up here, please help me understand why I need a full frame sensor, other than it just going to slow down my workflow.